Welcome to our Leadership Dialogues at the ETAuto Tech Summit 2025 taking place here in Bangalore. Joining us now is Ravindra Patki, who's a managing partner at the Vector Consulting Group. Now, this is a firm that's known for solving chronic industry problems. Ravindra has deep experience when it comes to supply chain problems, resilience, and operational excellence. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's an absolute pleasure. Now, there's a recent report in ET that talks about a high inventory that's lying with dealers. What is the root cause of this?
See, if you look at this inventory, it is not the recent phenomena.
Mhm.
Last year also, somewhere around October, there was almost 79-80,000 crores worth of inventory with the dealers. The primary root cause for this inventory comes from the major companies take internally. The first thing is they have sluggish planning systems. So they make monthly plans and they just react to them, and whatever is then produced has to move out to the dealers. So there is some inventory which is getting piled up. The second thing is a little at industry level. The industry level problem is all these companies declare their market share based on the wholesale, which is the billing to their dealers. And in order to ensure that their market shares are protected, they end up billing to the dealer. So the inventory keeps on piling. So a correction is actually required at the company side, OEM side, to ensure that they don't follow the internal processes in the way they are currently making the plans. And secondly, at the industry level, to change the way they are managing the market shares.
Right. And I'm sure you see these sort of bottlenecks. Now, when it comes to a problem like this, it's a commonly recurring problem. What is a long-term solution to this?
See, the long-term solution exists in moving away from sluggish planning systems to a highly reactive, agile planning system. So today in the event, we presented a new way of working in terms of how digitization, which was supposed to give you visibility and then subsequently agility, did not provide that. So there is a conflict which exists internally to the organizations, which is basically giving flexibility in terms of sales, but at the same time stability inside the organizations. Now, because of this conflict, the companies continue in the way of monthly planning systems. So they will have to move away from monthly planning systems to something called as buffer based systems, wherein all the flexibility can be achieved if you ensure that there is some protection available and you react to that protection in order to ensure the availability. Then you can work with stable operations and you can give the agility in the market. If this movement happens, then you can decide a target level for all the dealers, which you will not bill beyond, and then the availability can be ensured on the ground. So this is a movement that is required to happen across OEMs. Some of the OEMs that we have worked in the past in two-wheeler, in commercial vehicles, we have helped them in ensuring this availability at much lower inventory and giving them a benefit of giving very low lead time to their consumers. So whenever a customer walks in for that two-wheeler company, they can promise any bike in 7 days. That's the difference that can be created using the system.
And I think that's important to have long-term planning to simplify, the solution that you're saying. And this can only be resolved by breaking down silos and having an overall vision.
Absolutely. So you have to think end to end. If you look at it, this entire auto industry is actually working with just-in-time kind of concept. So for ensuring that OEM works with just in time, a huge inventory is piled up at suppliers and huge inventory is piled up at the dealers. So it's actually an eyewash. For them to change, end-to-end work has to happen from supplier side up to dealer side to change the entire supply chain way of working.
One part can't be fixed. There
Absolutely.
needs to be an overhaul of the entire system because it's a systemic change
Absolutely.
that needs to occur. That's very interesting indeed. Now, when we talk about automotives, it's become synonymous almost with EVs.
Absolutely.
That's the future that we're moving towards. And world over, there's been a massive adoption of EV. The progress has been, dynamic. But when it comes to India, which actually is at the forefront when it comes to technology, we are tech providers, service providers, tech support. But somehow when it comes to EV, we still lag behind. Why is that?
See, the way industry looks at it could be that we started adoption of EV a little late. The China, if you see, up to 2020, they were nowhere on the scope, but from 2020 onwards, they have picked up really well. So BYD, Chery, they have picked up really well. Now, sometimes we feel that the problem is external, but our experience in working with various OEMs and their new product developments, we find that the problem is always internal. The NPD teams are working on several projects which are stuck inside their own system, like traffic jams, and every driver is trying to pull their project ahead, and nothing is moving forward. So in such cases, you need a regulator which can move the traffic in better manner so that the things start moving faster. So a similar mechanism will be required internally for our OEMs to ensure that newer products can be developed faster.
All right. And how do we address this in a long-term manner so that we can also become technology leaders?
Yeah, so see, innovation is never behind in India. Okay, we have done quite a few leaps in different technologies. We have made ethanol 20% in our fuels now. We are working on hydrogen. So the work is happening. We need to expedite that work inside the systems, and that requires both efforts from the OEMs and from government, because all the innovation and the research and development requires money. So government also has to support these OEMs time to time in terms of investment in these technologies.
All right. So there's a lot of support that's required from various sectors.
Absolutely.
Right. So we feel that the ideation is there, but it's a long way to execution.
Absolutely.
And thank you for identifying that gap that exists. It's been very informative indeed. Thanks so much. I'm sure, as a consultant, this is billable for you. This is exactly what you do. You solve these problems for these companies, and in quite a simple manner. So thank you for breaking it down for us. I'm sure it's never as simple as how you put it. I'm sure there's a lot of number crunching that happens. There's a lot that goes into making sure that the supply chain is simplified at the end of the day. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you very
once
much
again for your valuable time. Thank you. And thank you so much for joining us. And remember to also catch our other conversations that are happening right here at the ETAuto Tech Summit 2025.